What a show. Wow. Definitely one of the better Dynamites in a while. Let's start the show. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Wow. That was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed Dynamite tonight. That was a great show. Back at it again. What is this? We're episode... Gosh. I don't even remember anymore. Episode 24. Woo! Smells Like Wrasslin podcast on the Smells Like Cologne network here on YouTube. I am your host, Eric Cologne, here with another review of Dynamite, as well as things coming and going and noteworthy events in the world of professional wrestling in the last week. We're definitely going to talk about Rampage from last week with that awesome match between Takeshita. Now I finally figured out how to pronounce it because I'm total mark for this guy right now. Takeshita and Kingston was an incredible match on Rampage. The match he had tonight with Moxley was incredible. Like, Fyter Fest Night 1, awesome show. One of the better Dynamites they've put out in quite some time. Lots of great wrestling. Just great shit. So I enjoyed it. Definitely lots of interesting stuff going on in the world of wrestling. Most of it having to do with Vince being a piece of shit. So, but what else is new? I have all these Starburst wrappers on my keyboard. I can't even scroll around through my notes. I got some things I want to say about Vince, the WWE, and more specifically, the entire women's division. All right. It's pretty obvious now. In my opinion, it's been obvious before, and it's been obvious for a very long period of time that Vince McMahon is kind of an asshole. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that have, had really, great interactions with him. I'm not saying that the man is completely bereft of any sort of humanity, but, let's be honest, like, he's done some really fucked up shit, too, So, we could go, there's pretty much a list, but at this point right now, it's blatantly obvious that this guy has been just using the WWE as, like, his sexual playground, and pretty much paid, honestly, the best paying job in WWE might be being Vince McMahon's mistress. That seems to be the deal right now. Like, he's been paying ungodly amounts of money, and upwards of like $12 million in these payoffs. And I'm just astounded. And like, it had to have been well known. Like, this guy has a stranglehold on this entire company. He runs it all with just the only way I could describe it is it has to be intimidation. Like, no one stands up to this guy. That's why I kind of give props to anybody who, like, left and stayed gone, or especially, like, Sasha and Naomi for walking out. Like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? This guy's a piece of shit. He treats you guys all like jokes. He's completely out of touch. He doesn't know how to write good television. He doesn't know how to produce good wrestling. He is a titan of our industry and a billionaire, and he's Vince McMahon, and he gave us guys like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and The Undertaker. But that was then, and this is fucking now. You know what I mean? Sorry, but I don't think that your legacy at this point now, you have you're balancing the scales between all the good you've done in wrestling and all the horrible shit that you've done to this profession. We're talking about the guy who just let half of his roster go in the middle of a pandemic. We're talking about the guy who just, like, has just booked everybody in that company like dog shit for fucking years. Unless your name is John fucking Cena. Because, let's face it, people, nobody liked Roman until recently. And I mean, all you people who love Roman now, you didn't love him back then when they were fucking forcing him down our throats and all this bullshit. And they were trying so hard to make us love him, just like, you know, people love Cena. And to me, Cena didn't get over to me until the latter part of his career, when he started fighting guys like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Like, those were that, and like, it really like took off with Punk, because like there needed to be an opposite. There needed to be a negative to Cena. You know what I mean? Like, he was too good, but there was no one else out there that could hold on to it, with the exception of maybe Orton and Triple H. But then Punk came about, and that was it. That was the Batman to a Superman. And then all of a sudden, Cena just started actually being able to put on, like, me, to be quite honest, his good match streak started when Brock Lesnar beat the living shit out of him. I think so. This was I mean, what? This had to have been after he beat The Rock, right? He beat The Rock, and the Raw after Mania, when he beat The Rock, Lesnar came out and F5'd him. And then that was when he freaking destroyed him at SummerSlam, and that was the birth of Suplex City. So, and like, how many years was Cena in the business until that point? Like 15 years? 15 years. They tried to do all of that in like 6 years. Unbelievable. So not only the fact that he's a dog shit booker and a dog shit promoter, like, I'll give it to him, he's a cutthroat businessman, fine. Now add on the fact that he's just been like fucking all these women in you know, WWE and paying them ungodly amounts of money. Like, here's my message to the women's division. How could you in good conscience come into work every day and work for that man? He's head of creative. He's at every show. He's at Raw. He's at SmackDown with you guys. Like, how could you stand to be in the same room with him? Let alone let this guy direct your careers. Or every woman in that company should walk out. All of them should walk out and say, we're not coming back to work until Vince McMahon is done. And Vince McMahon will be fucking done. That is the only way he's gonna get out. Like, that would bring national press attention to Vince. It would force the board of directors to oust him. Wrestling would be fucking saved on the backs of the WWE women's division. All they need to do is just walk out. No way they would get fired. They are unfucking touchable. They are untouchable. Ronda Rousey getting fired for walking out with all these women? Oh my God. If the women's division of WWE walked out, wrestling would be saved. In terms of like WWE. Because there's no way they're getting better until Vince is gone. And this is the closest we've gotten since, I guess the fucking steroid trial. He went through the entire speaking out movement. Not a single peep. Where are these fucking people now? Telling these women, walk out, stop working for this guy. Why are they're coming into work? They're having meetings with him. He's in Gorilla. He's the first person they see before they're the last person. He is the last person that they see before they walk out on that ramp, and the first fucking person they see when they walk through, and then they come back. That entire division should walk out. All of them walk out right now. Vince would be gone within 36 hours. I guarantee it. Stephanie McMahon would be the female face of the company, which is what they need. Her husband would be running creative. It's a family operation again, run by a McMahon. But this time, someone who has some fucking sense. I don't expect Stephanie to be on TV or to run creative. I want her to do what she does best, run businesses. Run the business. Be the face of the business. Leave the creative in-ring stuff. Leave it all to Paul Levesque and whoever the fuck that guy needs to build a roster and a storyline and a foundation for this company again after the untimely loss of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The entire women's division should walk out. I don't even know why this isn't even being fucking discussed right now. Unfucking, how does he get away with it? It's like wrestling is this microcosm that no one gives a shit about. Because people, I swear to God, this is my opinion. People who don't know the business at all still don't fucking know what's real or fake. Oh, Vince is doing some shit. He's always been a weasel. I remember watching him on TV. No, this is the real life dude. We're real life people, motherfuckers. Unbelievable. The entire division should walk out right now. Right now. You know how fucking poetic that would be? This is the place of the birth of the women's revolution. They had the Evolution pay-per-view. They have the 4 horsewomen. They were going to change. They have Ronda Rousey, who brought MMA female fighting into the spotlight. Women this, women that. They're going to main event WrestleMania. They're going to have Hell in a Cell. They're going to have this. It was run by a guy who was fucking half your roster and paying them to stay quiet. The entire division should walk out. Every day that they still come to work, I mean, like, what does that say? What does that say? Is that borderline hypocrisy? That you're gonna speak out for women and you work for a predator? Sure, there's no evidence of him forcing or any, like, criminal action, no. Unfortunately, it is not criminal to sleep with someone, pay them to stay quiet, and make it a legal deal, NDA, that's it. If you use company funds, that's a different story. But the man's been using his own. Why do you think he's fucking selling stock all the time? He's got to pay off another woman. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How could they even show up to work? I don't understand. I don't understand. Could someone explain to me this? How you could still show up to work every day and your characters are drawn up and created by this motherfucker? God damn it, man. I'm tired. Oh, God. That's 1 off my list. There we go. Actually, that's 2. The women walking out and Vince pretty much being a pig is... I guess we could bundle that together. Talk about Rampage. I want to talk about one match in particular. Kingston versus Takeshita was fucking awesome. It was so good, I went back to watch the match that Takeshita had with fucking Hangman. And now he had this awesome match tonight with Moxley. AEW is like having this... They're getting into this habit of, like, guys who, like, when they introduce them, like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why should I even care? And then, like, a little bit down the line, all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, like, I gotta watch these guys. So, Takeshita, Yuta. I remember Yuta was coming out with the Best Friends. I was like, what the fuck? What is it with this Yuta guy? I was like, what is he here for? He just showed up with the Best Friends. He's just running around with them. Like, what the fuck? Then all of a sudden he has a couple of matches with Moxley and Danielson and pours blood and just freaking just beats his chest and doesn't give a fuck. Now he's part of Blackpool Combat Club and he's the ROH Pure Champ. Awesome. You know what I mean? Takeshita's the man. I want to see Takeshita and fucking Orange Cassidy right now. That goes into another thing. I definitely want to talk about this Orange Cassidy and Wardlow match from tonight. I have opinions on it. So I definitely want to talk about those, but if you haven't seen Rampage, go back and watch Takeshita versus Kingston. That match was great. And the match tonight that he had with Moxley was awesome. It was great. This kid is on a roll. Both him and Orange Cassidy, in my opinion, they've been putting on bangers as of late. Orange Cassidy, he came back, had that great match with Ospreay. Then he had that great match with Ethan Page. He had a great match tonight with Wardlow, of all people. I'm telling you, like, that, well, we'll get into that. I'll get into, like, my opinions on that when we start talking about Rampage. But I just want to make a point to say that Takeshita's the fucking man and to watch that match from Rampage. That's pretty much all the stuff that I have from the prior, from the last time I saw you guys. Let's get into tonight's Dynamite. It was Fyter Fest tonight. Fyter Fest Night 1. 2 title matches, a world title eliminator. It was a stacked card tonight. I was not sure how the night was going to go in terms of, like, how much I was going to enjoy the matches. I was pleasantly surprised, and the ending was awesome. Awesome. Doom, you missed the rant of a lifetime, bro. You missed the rant of a lifetime. You owe it to yourself to fucking watch from the beginning and watch what I fucking dropped down in the last, like 15, 20 minutes or so. you would bow to that shit. You would bow to it. Anywho, so the night starts off. Let's see. Oh gosh. Let's go through the card. TNT Championship match: Orange Cassidy versus Wardlow. World title eliminator match: Takeshita versus Moxley. If Takeshita wins, he gets a title shot. Jake Hader versus Claudio Castagnoli. Anna Jay versus Serena Deeb. Jericho comes out and has words for Eddie Kingston. We hear from Christian Cage. Luchasaurus has a match. And we got the main event, which is the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. Swerve in Our Glory, which is the team of Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. The Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks in a three-way for the title. So we're going to take it from the top of the show. Great show tonight. The show started off, Wardlow defeats Orange Cassidy with Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta at ringside. All right, now listen. What is it? Yeah, tonight was a good show. Thank you. Yes, Doom. Yes. Tonight was a good show. Agreed. Probably one of the better episodes of Dynamite in some time. Anywho, so my thoughts about this. I had my serious reservations about it because Orange Cassidy has been in a serious role lately, and his matches have been great, and the pops he's been getting have been the bigger pops of the night. He's been doing awesome. At first I was like, why would you have Orange Cassidy fight Wardlow? Number one, everybody loves Orange Cassidy. So why? And you're trying to push Wardlow as a babyface. So why would you put Wardlow in a position where the crowd on television is going to boo him? You know what I mean? Like, that's not a good look. You want to push him. He's a babyface. Push him as a babyface. Stop putting him in situations where he could possibly be a heel. I was worried that Orange Cassidy had like really good momentum, and I thought that Wardlow squashing him would stop that. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the booking. I thought the match was great. I thought Wardlow winning was convincing. He wasn't a heel. He gave Orange Cassidy a straight match. He gave him props afterwards. He did some pretty cool athletic shit. They went back and forth. Cassidy stayed strong. And I don't think it hurts Orange Cassidy going forward. I think it kept Wardlow strong because, and here's the other point I was trying to get to. And this is the point that I make every week. When guys go up against champions, I don't feel like in AEW in particular that the builds for those challengers aren't very good for most of them. And what happens is when you don't give a crap about the challenger, it's hard to give a crap about the match in general. And then what ends up happening is you have your champions having mediocre matches because they're facing against guys that aren't really booked to be a serious threat. Like, no one's sitting there being like, holy shit, like, I wonder who would win this match. You know what I mean? I feel like that adds more drama, and I think it's a more palpable drama that brings people back to the table because one of the things that I like about television and long-form storytelling is that when you're watching it on obviously actual television shows have the benefit of actually having a beginning, middle, and end and a season ending and taking a break and starting a new story. But it's the drama that builds within that microcosm of a story that has people coming back week to week. Now, you don't necessarily have to have cliffhangers every week, but you could still drag people, I guess you could say drag people along, guide people along with a story that's juicy, that you want to know the next chapter of it, that you're chomping at the bit, you're online, you're trying to talk with people to figure out what's going to happen next. What do you think? They could go this way. They could go that way. That garners interest. Interest garners momentum. Momentum tends to garner higher ratings and greater crowd attendance and more eyes on the product and more money in merch and more ticket sales and a higher gate and a more profitable company. And when you start being profitable for a man who's, I believe, is as business savvy as he says he is, Tony Khan, would see momentum and a growing revenue, he's obviously going to be like, all right, this is a formula that we should keep on doing. So I feel like that way of storytelling is a better way to build better champions, to build interest on the week-to-week shows because you're interested in the what if, the maybe, the what's going to happen next. If you could see it projected a mile away, it kind of, if you don't do it properly, if you're not really giving the fans exactly what they want and they're enjoying being brought on the journey, they see the carrot, they see the stick, but they want to be brought along anyways, that's like the sweet spot of booking. But I feel like you can't take that for granted and just have other people who are just getting built up on Dark or have maybe a 1 or 2 wins on Rampage or something like that decide to challenge for titles because it's just like, I know it's not going to happen. You know, I know it's not going to be a win like they did. That's just not the way that it goes. Like you could tell that their world title picture is very planned out. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that they have some sort of long-term goal with it. So, having said that, I can't really be upset with the booking for tonight because Orange Cassidy was booked strong, and I got to the point I'm like, Jesus, like maybe Orange Cassidy might actually win the belt. I mean, he's had an impressive streak of victories. They were great matches too. He didn't beat Will Ospreay, but like the guy was building momentum ever since that point. Like the next 2 matches he had were awesome. So it makes sense that you have a guy who's built up and who's like exciting, like Orange Cassidy, fight a guy like Wardlow. And the way that they produced the match, I thought protected both guys. Orange Cassidy lost. He faced a guy that clearly was bigger than him and outclassed him. And yeah, he was clever, but his cleverness can't. And his mind games, Wardlow stayed strong, and he kept his eyes on the prize. And, you know, that was pretty much it. Once they got rid of Best Friends, all the kind of hokey shit kind of went out the wayside, and they got rid of Danhausen. And that was pretty much it. Wardlow's size and power overcame whatever sort of shenanigans Orange Cassidy could throw. And Orange Cassidy showed that he could be tough. Like, there were times in the match where he did some impressive comebacks. So Wardlow gave him his props at the end. Thought it was a solid match. I enjoyed it. Yes, yeah, Doom. I agree. Yeah, the Kingston Jericho, this is it. This is it. I just feel like Jericho feuds just go one match too long. One match too long with like MJF, one match too long with Kingston. It just goes one match too long. I think that didn't he fight like Orange Cassidy like 4 times or whatever? So it's just, this has to be the end. I love Eddie Kingston though, and it's going to be a great match. And then he's going to win. He should win. And he should go over. Then he should challenge Moxley for the interim belt and I don't know, maybe win it. I think it'd be awesome. Eddie Kingston deserves to be champion. So Chris Jericho comes out. I honestly thought he was going to make mention of his album going gold, but that didn't happen. So maybe I'm assuming he says that on commentary on Rampage, because he's usually commentary on Rampage. But he comes out. He says he's a living legend. He's Eddie Kingston's superior. He brings up all the friendships that Kingston had and all the shit that has come onto those people from Jericho. You had Ruby Soho, hand crushed. She's out of action. You got Ortiz, head shaved. He's out of action. You got Santana, knee blown out. He's out of action. You got Danielson, concussion. He's out of action. Anybody who's even been close to Kingston is getting wiped off the face of the earth. This is a great storyline. You know what I mean? Yes. Do I feel like it's gone on a little bit too long? Yeah, but like if you look at the bodies that Jericho has stacked up against and of all the people that support Eddie Kingston, it's kind of impressive. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I think this should be the last match in the feud. I think this is a great. I think if this ends well, I think this is just another chapter in a great feud between Kingston and Jericho. I mean, they had the blood and guts match. They had the one-on-one match. They had, I think it was at Revolution. Like this is pretty cool shit. So like, but yes, I feel like it's gone a little bit too long. But I mean, they just Ruby Soho and like I don't know, like. This is the story as it is now. Jericho stacked up all these bodies of people that have supported Kingston, and now Kingston's out for revenge. Before it was about respect, and now it's about revenge. So I guess they're going through all the emotions right there. So there was a commercial break. Kingston cuts the promo backstage with Ortiz and Ruby. Basically the same stuff that Eddie's been saying last couple of weeks. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to taste your blood the end. So they're going to have the barbed wire everywhere match next week. William Regal joins commentary for the interim AEW World Championship Eliminator. That is a mouthful. Jon Moxley defeated Takeshita in a fantastic fucking match. I'm pretty sure Takeshita took like 2 paradigm shifts and still kept going. The man is a monster. It was a great fucking match. Both guys got color. It was awesome. If you like a great, hard-hitting Japanese wrestling match, this was the fucking match that you got tonight. And it was great. And the crowd loved it. And they knew they were going to love it because fucking AEW crowds love this Japanese shit. So I love it too. It was great. It was awesome. Watch the match. Takeshita's on fire right now. I don't know who he's going to face next. All I know is that I want to watch it when it happens. That's the shit I'm talking about. You build a guy. There's interest. You want to see who he fights next. That's what I'm talking about. More guys in AEW should be built like Takeshita right now. Christian Cage cuts a promo. This is another thing I want to talk about. Christian Cage becoming more and more despicable as the weeks go on is must-see television. I know that other people think that it's cheap heat. I get that. I understand that, and I respect that opinion. I enjoy this shit. This is hysterical. He just comes out every week and just becomes a bigger and bigger piece of shit and saying more and more outlandish things to everybody. It's great. I hope I'm not being too loud. I'm going to lower this a little bit. All right, there we go. So he said Griff Garrison looked like Jungle Boy. He basically said, your dad's a legend, but he was average at best. He was making fun of Brian Pillman Jr.'s, just his dad and his career and all this shit. It was horrific. Christian Cage was being a real son of a bitch. So this is going to be his shtick for the next several weeks. He's going to come out. He's going to talk horrible shit about whoever's in the ring. He's going to bring it somehow back to how Jungle Boy is a piece of shit. And Luchasaurus is going to destroy somebody. And they're going to keep on doing that until Jungle Boy gets healthy. And he comes back. And the first person he beats is Luchasaurus. And the second person he beats is Christian Cage. And he ends up challenging for a title. What title that may be? Maybe it's the TNT title. Jungle Boy versus Wardlow would be a pretty dope match. Especially if Jungle Boy gets all those big wins. And you know what? That's a match I could say. I have no idea who actually would win that match. They could build up Jungle Boy, have him get all this momentum, and it's just another notch in Wardlow's belt. Because obviously, Wardlow they're going to push to be a major star, but the same thing as Jungle Boy. So, who knows? That match could go either way. Intrigue. Mystery. If I don't know what's going to happen next, I want to watch. If I know what's going to happen next, it better be what I want. And if it's not what I want you to make me love what I never knew I would love, like Takeshita. Luchasaurus beats Griff Garrison, then destroys Brian Pillman Jr. at the end. Daniel Garcia and 2.0 are in a segment backstage. They were asked about the shark cage that they're going to be suspended of in next week's barbed wire everywhere match. And basically, they want the Blackpool Combat Club to be in the shark cage. And Garcia says he understands why he's in a cage because he's dangerous. He said he's tired of Wheeler Yuta doing a cheap Garcia imitation. And that he took his identity and he's going to take the ROH Pure title at Death Before Dishonor. That match should be great. Hangman Adam Page was backstage looking ridiculous. And he was asked about being eliminated in the Battle Royal. He was going on to saying he was disappointed. John Silver and Alex Reynolds came up, said they were mad, challenged the House of Black for a match on Rampage. I mean, obviously, House of Black's going to beat the absolute shit out of them. But it should be an interesting match because Silver and Reynolds are a great tag team. So I'll watch the match because I know it's going to be entertaining, even though I know who's going to win. There you go. But if the match goes the way I want, they gave me what I want. Ergo, why I'm entertained, because I got what I want. We got Regal joining commentary again. Claudio Castagnoli defeats Jake Hager in a really hard-hitting match. It was just two big hosses, two big meaty men slapping meat. You know what I mean? As to quote Big E. It was awesome. They beat the shit out of one another. I don't think that Claudio could do, unless it's a cruiserweight, people should start getting used to the fact he's going to rotate 5 times. The guy's not getting any younger, people. Let's curb our expectations here. 5 rotations, perfect. I'd be happy with that. Still an awesome feat of strength because I don't think I could spin anyone any amount of times. Hook was backstage. They asked if he was going to consider going for a championship since he's undefeated, and he just walks away. I basically don't know what he's going to do. And being that he's undefeated, if he goes for a title, that only means one thing. He's going to lose it, which means someone has to beat Hook. But unless he holds a title, he doesn't have to lose at all. Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm backstage. Rosa coming off of a loss to Yamashita in a match in Japan, which garnered her a title match. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter come out. They walked up. They said AEW was a disaster without Britt being the champ, and pretty much came out with an actual sandbag and gave it to Thunder Rosa as a dig in the whole sandbagging rumor that was going on the interwebs, where she was accused of sandbagging a match and not working with people. So, yeah, Hook low-key should be just FTW champ. He should beat Ricky Starks. Then he could hold on to that belt and defend it for forever and never lose. And that's pretty much it. He will be the undefeated FTW champion, and Ricky Starks could go on to do better shit. That's great. Yeah. Enough. All right. Your girlfriend likes butts. I get it. Takeshita's, check. Claudio's, check. I get it. Butts. Got it. Jesus. Doom is just relentless. Christ. Serena Deeb fights Anna Jay and beats her. This is Anna Jay's hometown. I would say that if Tony told her, hey, listen, we're going to give you a match in front of your hometown, it could be against anybody, but I get to book whoever wins or loses, who would it be? If I were Anna Jay, I would have 110% picked Serena Deeb, because Serena Deeb carried her to a halfway decent match. Anna Jay still, in my eyes, has a lot more to go in terms of her in-ring work and her character. But aside from that, she is steadily getting better. And if you were going to have a match in your hometown in which you want it to look good, Serena Deeb can give you that match. Serena Deeb has her tap out. She held on to the Serenity Lock, and Mercedes Martinez comes out, obviously setting up a women's or ROH women's title match between the two of them at, I'm assuming, Death Before Dishonor. I'm of the mindset that Serena Deeb should have a belt around her waist. I think she's a more compelling champion than Mercedes. I think Mercedes is probably better utilized in like an enhancement role. But, I've also talked to, buddies who made a strong saying that it should go to a younger talent. Obviously youth is the future. So, and putting it on Serena is definitely not a step in that particular direction. So a question I ask is, who is a young female star who deserves to have a belt? Maybe a Chris Statlander. I kind of feel like her path is heading towards Jade Cargill. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that's going to go. Jade Cargill, Stokely Hathaway, and the baddies were backstage. Jade said they weren't afraid of Athena or Chris Statlander. They told she told Tony to cut the shit. Again, I love it. They mocked Layla Gray for being an interim baddie. Stokely said, like trust in the process, blah blah blah, and they said that they would be watching Athena and Statlander on Rampage, And Kiera said Layla would never be a baddie once Stokely walked away. So that's the storyline that they're taking with that. The lineup for Rampage this week. The ROH World Championship is on the line. Jonathan Gresham, who just recently turned heel and betrayed his challenger, Lee Moriarty. The Gun Club speaks on why they betrayed the Acclaimed. And the Lucha Brothers with Alex Abrahantes in their corner fight Private Party with Andrade in their corner. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out. Obviously, I feel like it's going to lead to a match between the Lucha Brothers and Andrade and Rush. I don't know when that's going to happen, but whatever that night that happens, take the night off, watch that fucking match. It's going to be a great Lucha tag match. The lineup for ROH is Death Before Dishonor, which is the 23rd of this month of July. The ROH Pure Championship is on the line. Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. The ROH Tag Team titles are on the line. FTR is facing the Briscoes once again. The Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Samoa Joe is defending his title against Jay Lethal with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt in his corner. The Women's World Championship is on the line. Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb. Jay Lethal and his group come out to commentary, basically said they're going to embarrass Joe at Death Before Dishonor, so Jay Lethal gets some FaceTime on TV. Anna Jay being checked on backstage. Basically, Ty Conti showed up, pretended she was sad, said basically make better choices for her career. Anna Jay came back and saying, at least I didn't slam a car door in Ruby Soho's hand. So is this a potential heel turn for Anna Jay? Is she going to leave the Dark Order? What's going on? Let's see what happens. AEW World Tag Team Championships were on the line in a shocker, in my opinion, because I could have sworn they were going to have the Bucks hold on to those titles and then have an awesome match with FTR for all the belts. But instead, the winners and new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Swerve Strickland and Keith motherfucking Lee, are the Tag Team Champions. They pinned Ricky Starks. It was an awesome match. If you like PWG, it was one spot after another. It was fucking nuts. And it was a fantastic match. I could have sworn the Bucks were going to win. I was shocked when Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland won. Good for them. This shakes up the tag team division. They have a lot of charisma. I still think they have another match in them with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Because I just think the dynamic between those two teams is awesome. And the promos they cut on each other are great. And if they want to be each other's greatest rivals, even fucking better. Great freaking match. And yeah, they're the tag champs in a surprising upset against the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks were not pinned. I have no idea where they're going to go with the tag team belts right now. I have no idea where they're going to go with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland as a team. I feel like they're destined to turn on one another. Who's going to turn heel? I am not too sure. But that's how it ended. We got new tag champs, and the tag champs are not the Bucks. They have had now officially probably the shortest tag team title reign out of anybody in the company. So there we go. That's the show for tonight. I got nothing left for you guys. I thought that hopefully there would be more news or anything, but I am spent. I want to thank you for watching. Doom, I appreciate your participation in the chat as always, brother. Thank you for hopping in once again. Probably my number one most loyal listener. I don't think there's been a single show that you've missed, brother. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, or those who are going to watch. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys next week after Fyter Fest Night 2. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Take care, guys.